All right, today we're diving into something that could completely transform classroom management. We're talking about a huge shift away from traditional discipline and toward building classrooms and entire school communities that are stronger and way more connected.
So let's just start with this one big question. What if discipline wasn't about punishing a kid for messing up? What if instead the goal was to actually repair the harm that was done and teach them how to handle things better next time? That's really the heart of what we're talking about here.
Okay, so you can see the two approaches side by side here, and the difference is, well, it's night and day. On one side, you've got the old-school punitive measures, which are all about pointing fingers and handing out punishments. But on the other side, with restorative practices, the focus completely changes. It's all about fixing what was broken, making the community stronger, and encouraging real, genuine accountability. It's a totally different mindset.
And it's really important to get this. This isn't just about trying a few new techniques or posting a new set of rules on the wall. We're talking about a whole new philosophy for the classroom. It's about intentionally moving away from a culture of punishment and creating a culture that's all about repair and responsibility.
So let's get a clear definition. What are we actually talking about with restorative practices, or RP? Well, as you can see, they're all about relationships. And here's the crucial part. They are designed not just to react when things go wrong, but to proactively build a strong community from the very beginning. And when problems do pop up, the idea is to help students learn from their mistakes and take accountability, not just to punish them and move on. Okay, so that's the theory, but how does this actually look in a classroom? Well, it all starts with building a solid foundation, and the main tool for that is a proactive strategy called the Community Building Circle. This is what you do before any problems even have a chance to start. And this right here, this is the whole key. The entire point of these circles is to build strong relationships, to establish trust, and to make sure every single student feels like they truly belong, right from day one. Because think about it. When students feel connected and respected, a lot of those conflicts they don't even happen in the first place.
And what I love about this is how simple but powerful these elements are. I mean, look at this. Everyone sits in a circle. Boom! No more barriers, no front or back of the room. You use a talking piece, which means whoever is holding it gets to talk without being interrupted. And this one is huge. Participation is voluntary. You can always pass. It's all about creating this safe space that's built on respect and honesty.
All right, but let's be real. Even in the best, strongest communities, conflict is gonna happen, right? It's just part of life. So, what do you do then? That's where the reactive strategies come in. These are the tools you pull out when it's time to do some repair work. So, tool number one is the restorative conversation. And right away, you can see this is not your typical lecture or scolding from a teacher. It's a structured dialogue, and the entire point is to guide students to understand the impact of their actions and to take the lead on making things right. And wow, this slide really gets to the core of it. Just look at these questions. For the person who caused the harm, you're not asking, why did you do that? You're asking, what happened? And who's been affected by this? And for the person who was harmed, you're asking, how did this affect you? This simple shift in language changes the entire dynamic, from blame to actually trying to understand and find a resolution. Okay, next up, we have a strategy that takes student empowerment to a whole new level: collaborative problem solving. I mean, the name says it all, right? You're bringing the students directly into the process of finding a solution. And when they help build the plan, you better believe they feel a sense of ownership and true accountability. And there's a really clear process for this. It's not just a free-for-all. You can see the steps. You start by identifying the problem without pointing fingers. You get everyone's side of the story, brainstorm a bunch of solutions together, and then pick one and try it out. And that final step, following up, so important. You have to check back in to see if the solution is actually working. You can use this for anything from a tiny disagreement to a whole class issue. So our last strategy is something that's not just for big conflicts. It's kind of like the native language of a restorative classroom. It's called affective statements, and it's all about building empathy in those small, everyday moments. And here it is. The formula is so simple, but honestly, it is a total game changer. When you do X, I feel Y because of Z. When you behave, I feel emotion because reason. It's that simple, but it communicates the impact of an action without attacking the person. Let's look at how this plays out. So instead of just saying, stop interrupting, a teacher could say, when you interrupt while I'm giving directions, I feel frustrated because it makes it harder for everyone to understand. See the difference? It's not an attack. It connects that person's action directly to the well-being of the whole group. It explains the why behind the rule. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. When you put all of these pieces together, the community circles, the restorative conversations, the collaborative problem solving, and this empathetic language, you don't just get a bunch of new classroom management tricks. You get a massive, profound cultural shift.
And this table just lays it all out so perfectly. You're moving from punitive measures to a relationship-focused approach. You're shifting from blame and punishment to accountability and repair. And you're going from a top-down, teacher-led system to one where students are actually empowered to help solve their own problems. It's a huge change.
And that leaves us with this final big question to think about. Because this is about so much more than just having a quieter classroom. How might a classroom that is focused on repair, not punishment, fundamentally change the way students learn to navigate conflict, take responsibility, and build relationships for the rest of their lives?